Welcome to Cyber Bytes, your weekly dose in the latest in cybersecurity. I'm your host, Edwin Kwan, and today we've got a packed lineup. We'll be talking about CommBank's new AI bot army. We'll be talking about the university hacking case in Western Sydney, some critical gaps in New South Wales hospital cybersecurity, APRA's stark warning about super funds, and Qantas confirming a massive customer data breach. So let's get started. Let's kick things off with a story that's equal parts cutting edge and classic Aussie cheek. Commonwealth Bank has just rolled out thousands of AI-powered bots, each sporting a convincing Australian accent to actively trap and disrupt scammers. These bots aren't just for show, they're engineered to waste scammers' times with endless, going nowhere conversations, helping to tie up their resources and gathering real-time intelligence on scam tactics. Now the brains behind this is a cyber intelligence spin-out from Macquarie University. It's apt.ai. Their bots are designed to sound like real people, complete with Aussie slang, different ages, genders, and personalities. They're even calling scammers mate, while stringing them along. The idea is simple. Every minute a scammer spends talking to a bot is a minute they're not engaging a real Australian. Now, this is a significant shift from the usual defensive playbook. Rather than just blocking or filtering scam attempts, CommBank is flipping the script. It's using AI to actively disrupt criminal operations and feed near real-time scam intelligence directly into their security systems and broader anti-scam ecosystem. So why now? Scam losses in Australia are aspiring. In just the first 4 months of 2025, Australians lost nearly $119 million to scam, and this is a 28% jump from the same period last year. In 2024, the total losses reached $2 billion, with investment and romance scams leading the charge. As scammers themselves turn to AI to sharpen their attacks, the banks and tech companies are racing to stay ahead. CommBank's approach is part of a broader cross-industry effort involving telcos, big tech, and government agencies, all sharing intelligence to make Australia a harder target for scammers. Now on to our next story, which is a story about insider threats and how a seemingly minor infraction can spiral into a full-blown cybercrime campaign. A 27-year-old former Western Sydney University student has been charged with 20 offences after an extensive hacking spree that started back in 2021. It began quite innocently enough. Allegedly, it was an attempt to score discounted parking on campus by exploiting university systems. But things escalated pretty quickly. The police allege that the suspect gained unauthorized access to restricted data, that she altered her own academic results, and ultimately threatened to sell confidential student information on the dark web. The attacks became more sophisticated over time, compromising the university's single sign-on systems between January and February 2025. The breach exposed the data of around 10,000 students, and investigators said over 100 gigabytes of sensitive data was exfiltrated, including bank details, tax file numbers, and personal documents. The arrest was the result of a complex multi-agency investigation involving the New South Wales Police Cybercrime Squad, the AFP Joint Policing Cyber Coordination Centre, and cybersecurity experts. During a raid in Kingswood, police seized computer equipment and mobile devices. The accused was refused bail and is set to face court with investigations ongoing. This is a reminder of how insider threats can involve and the importance of having robust access controls and monitoring within educational institutions. What started as a minor exploit quickly snowballed into a major breach affecting thousands. Now, let's turn our attention to the health sector. A leaked New South Wales Audit Office report has revealed some troubling news. New South Wales public hospitals are failing to meet basic cybersecurity standards, despite taxpayers spending $40 million a year on cyber protections. None of the 4 local health districts assessed met the minimum requirements set out in the New South Wales government's 2019 cybersecurity policy. The report found systemic non-compliance across the health system, with major gaps in incident response and disaster recovery planning. This means that if a cyber attack occurs, the hospitals could struggle to maintain patient care and protect sensitive medical records. Healthcare is the most targeted industry in Australia, with recent attacks exposing millions of records. You have the MediSecure breach, which affected 12.9 million Australians, making it one of the largest in the nation's history. And you have other high-profile incidents that have hit the Epworth and Royal Melbourne Hospital, fertility clinics, and major health insurers. Now, healthcare providers are prime targets because of the sensitivity of their data and because disruptions can literally put lives at risk. Criminals are increasingly using harm maximization tactics, threatening patient safety to pressure organizations into paying ransoms. Despite a projected increase in cybersecurity spending to $59 million next year and $64 million by 2030, the audit concluded that New South Wales hospitals remain ill-prepared to respond to attacks. Immediate action has been recommended, including urgent compliance reviews and enhanced risk management protocols by the end of the year. Now, let's look at the financial sector, where the Australian Prudential Regulation Authority, APRA, has issued a warning that cyber attacks on superannuation funds could pose a systemic risk to Australia's entire banking system. This follows a coordinated attack in April targeting major industry funds like Australian Super, Australian Retirement Trust, Hostplus, and Rest Super. The attackers used credential stuffing, leveraging leaked passwords from the dark web to target retirees, especially in the early morning hours when victims were less likely to notice suspicious activity. While the number of compromised accounts was small, the incident exposed persistent weaknesses in authentication controls across this sector. APRA has now ordered all super funds to urgently assess and upgrade their cyber security, with a particular focus on implementing multi-factor authentication for high-risk activities and privileged access. The deadline for compliance is 31st of August this year. Now, why is this so critical? Super funds now manage over $4 trillion in retirement savings and hold a quarter of all domestic bank stocks, plus nearly a third of short-term bank debt. If a cyber attack forces multiple funds to sell off assets at once, this could trigger a cascade effect across the banking sector. Now, APRA's message is blunt. The obligations of superannuation entities to ensure the safety and security of members' retirement savings and member data is non-negotiable. The regulator expects fast, more holistic implementation of robust cyber defenses, or funds could face supervisory or regulatory action. And this comes at a time when Australia's financial system is already under pressure, with household debt at record highs and housing affordability issues compounding systemic risks. And for our final story, we're going to look at the aviation sector, where Qantas has confirmed a major cyber incident that potentially exposed the personal data of up to 6 million customers. The breach occurred after cyber criminals targeted a third-party customer servicing platform used by a Qantas call center, gaining unauthorized access to a trove of customer service records dating back several years. The compromised data includes name, email addresses, phone numbers, and birth dates. While Qantas has contained the breach and assures there's no impact on flight operations or safety, the scale of the incident makes it one of the largest data breaches in Australian aviation history. Affected customers have been notified, and Qantas is working with cybersecurity experts and law enforcement to investigate the full scope. The incident underscores the vulnerability of third-party platforms and the critical need for robust cybersecurity across the entire supply chain. With airlines increasingly reliant on digital platforms for customer interactions, this breach raises some serious concerns about the protection of personal data in the aviation industry. Qantas have moved quickly to reassure customers, but the incident is a reminder of the risk posed by complex digital systems. And that's it for this week's Cyber Bites. The stories this week highlight a common theme. Cyber threats are evolving and no sector is immune, from banks and universities to hospitals, super funds, and airlines. Whether it's AI bots flipping the script on scammers, insider threats escalating into major breaches, or critical infrastructure failing basic security checks, the stakes have never been higher. As always, the key takeaways are to stay vigilant, invest in robust cybersecurity measures, and take a proactive approach to both prevention and response. I'm Edwin Kwan, and I'll see you guys next week.